Guys, if you're just joining us, we are observing a minute of silence for all our fallen members of the community. We've had some deaths, short and timely deaths, and we are here. We are in national mourning, but business has to continue, even though as we are mourning, we have important matters at hand to discuss. And I'm joined with Honorable Matomola. Share this video. We'll be here today for 2 hours because we are in a lockdown. We can't campaign. So this is our Insaka. We are sharing a link. You are free to join in. I see some of you are waiting in the waiting room. Just be patient. We'll admit you in a couple of minutes here. The topics that we are going to discuss is the national mourning period. We had some update on the funeral preparations for our late His Excellency Kenneth David Kaunda. We also saw a video last night where 34,000, almost 300,000 people went live yesterday and watched SEER1 talk about his involvement with his PF government. And guys, this is very, very important. We have to discuss that. I know people have got different views, so that's why today we are putting 2 hours for all of you guys to come and make sense or just discuss what is happening. Then also we want to talk about COVID-19. Guys, COVID-19 is real. I'm here in the United States, and we were among the first countries hit with this COVID-19. It is real. A lot of people were in denial. They overlooked the COVID guidelines. It's very important you adhere to COVID appropriate behavior. Wear your masks, distance. If you're not feeling well, like me, I'm a field worker. I continued to work. So what I did is, like, every time I come home from the field work, I steam my face. So I put salt and lemon, boiling water, I steam, because they say the virus, it stays in your nose there. That's where it stays before it goes to the lungs. So if you are a person, you're a breadwinner, you have to go out to work. When you go home, steam up, because the virus stays in your nostrils and behind your mouth before it goes into the lungs. So it's really important. Simple remedy stuff can save your life. Share this information. Drink aspirin, because aspirin dilates the veins. We know that COVID kills by causing blood clots, and when the blood clots, if your blood clots is go to your heart, then you have a problem breathing, you have a problem, for blood to be pumped around your body. You have a blood clot in your brain, you have problems. So drink aspirin, stay active. It's very important to walk at least 30-40 minutes. And then if you are overweight, it's even a more serious challenge for people who are overweight, obesity. And also, if you're over 50 years old, everyone over 50 years old, we are at high risk. So for the young people, they get it, minor symptoms, they recover. So this is the information, guys, that we need to share. COVID is real. And we have seen that prominent people, they are getting this COVID because they are the ones who are out and about moving, and they are not following the COVID guidelines. Like people in villages, they are limited where they go. So that's why you see that COVID in remote areas or in distant places, it is not as high. But in the cities where people are interacting, meeting different people, that's where you see the transmission of the disease. And in the cold weather, this disease is rampant. We saw here in the United States where people died in the winter, a lot of people. All our mortuaries, they were full. They were bringing refrigerated trucks like the ones which Zambia uses to carry animals. That's where the corpses were being put, So it is serious, guys. In the hospital, they were just piling bodies in the hallway. I am not lying. Everything I'm saying is in social media. You can see some of those images. In fact, some of those images, they were too drastic. They were taken down. So I'm saying this because I hear people saying that UTH, the mortuary is full. It can be full. You saw in India, they were burning bodies in the street. So this disease, guys, is not a joke. Lusaka is a highly populated area. There is congestion in Lusaka. And if people are not practicing COVID appropriate guidelines, the situation is going to get worse. That being said, I will hand over the floor to Honorable Matomola. You are on mute, so you can unmute yourself.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful, elaborate explanation on the COVID situation. And I just want to update the Zambian people that what is happening in our country right now, it is something that must not be perceived from a political angle, but it is something that we must perceive seriously. Okay. Today, I went to UTH to go and see for myself if what people were talking about, the doctors were talking about, was true or not. And true to my word, I've got a friend, I've got the sister to my mother in short, who is currently part and parcel of the many victims who are suffering from, who have got COVID there. And the picture at the UTH is that they have even closed the hospital from members of the general public to visit other sick patients. As I'm talking to you, the mortuaries are full. The sad part about it is that the first wave did not hit Zambia very well, very, very hard. The second wave of the coronavirus didn't hit Zambia very hard. But this third wave that we have has now entered in the communities. Remember, when the COVID crisis started, the major fear that many people had, the general citizens had, was that if this COVID is going to enter into shanty compounds, it's going to enter into townships that are very much poor, that are very much underdeveloped, like Misisi, Chawama, Kanyama, Mandeva, and so forth and so on, there's going to be a disaster. As I speak to you right now, in Chawama, there are cases there of COVID-19. So these cases of COVID, of coronavirus they continue to increase. And that is the reason why President Hakainde Hichilema of the United Party for National Development did give a 10-point plan on how to handle the COVID crisis. And he said, in the first place, what the Ministry of Health needed to do was to enter into a partial lockdown of the whole country so that they could conduct the rapid test for everybody. But in the initial stages of the coronavirus, the government of the Republic of Zambia took coronavirus, treated it with kids' grab. Even when whites, international organizations donated money, face masks, and all manner of materials, they decided to misappropriate those funds under the assumption that the coronavirus was going to end. And that is the reason why close to $6 billion US was taken from the Ministry of Health and channeled to road development projects. That is the reason why when the Jack Ma Foundation donated the face masks and hand sanitizers, those face masks, they gave out to cadres to be merchandising them and to be selling them. So what we are saying is that as Zambians, we must be ready to criticize ourselves amidst this crisis. And my bone of contention is that our government is not serious in handling the COVID-19 crisis that we have. Because we have seen that despite them banning the rallies, road shows, they have continued to gather. They have continued to bring poor, innocent villagers in Chiengi, innocent villagers in Kaputa, innocent villagers in Chipata, and they gather multitudes of them without face masks, okay, without social distance. But when they come here in Lusaka, these same people, they come and tell us that we are concerned about coronavirus, so we have suspended the rallies, we have suspended road shows. But when they go in the villages there, they are holding rallies. The racks of Chimbakambui, the racks of PF Secretary General Davis Mui, we are seeing that our government of the day is hypocritical in handling this issue of coronavirus. And if we are not careful, a lot of senior government high-ranking officials are going to lose their lives at the altar of political expedience. Okay, for them, they are not concerned about the lives of people that we continue to lose at the University Teaching Hospital. They are concerned about winning an election. As I'm talking to you right now, the only reputable clinic hospital that we have in Zambia, which has got proper ventilators, is Mainasoko Military General Hospital. And for your own information, mwema Zambians, imwena ine chikadwara coronavirus, kwenda ku Mainasoko suendako mahala, kwenda ku Mainasoko kuja mulipira. For you to put on a ventilator, you don't go there for free. You pay. Now, how many Zambians are going to afford? How many Zambians are going to afford to go to Mainasoko? So our point is that in as much as we have got this crisis, the government of the day must be very, very much serious in handling this crisis. We don't want hypocrites who, on the other side, they talk about coronavirus. On the other side, they talk about a funeral, okay, of our first Republican president, and they want now to carry the coffin of the former first president and pass it in 10 provinces and tell people to line up like the way they were lining up for Kaunda those days when he was passing. The same style. That is the same style that they want. That when people are in sorrow, when the coffin of former president Keke goes to Sorezi, people will line up on the streets without social distance, without masks. Okay, not to see the body viewing, but to see the coffin passing, the casket passing at a far and maybe wave or have a glance on it. All these are activities that will accelerate the COVID crisis. Okay, so that is what we'll be talking about, the issue of coronavirus. Let us know where you are watching us from. Comment below because we'll be reading out some of your comments, and we're also going to be talking about this funeral. We are also going to be talking about the hypocrisy that is in the government of the day in terms of handling these cases. A lot of people have died, and some of those people, the Minister of Health has not given us an accurate figure. That is the reason why SEER1 yesterday said that we need to have a private audit. Okay, we need to have private auditors to look at the numbers. How are the numbers going? And why is it that when it's a government official who is suffering from COVID-19, they don't tell us? All we see is a private jet. We see it in Egypt. We see it in this country. So these are the issues, Mama. Back to you.
Thank you very much. So we are still talking on COVID. I'm here to say that we had someone who did a private investigation and they went to hospitals. So they went to these government hospitals and actually they confirmed that these government hospitals do not have testing kits. So where are they getting the results from? To say in Lusaka, there are so many tested positive of COVID, but there are no kits in the hospital. So the things are not adding up. The numbers are not adding up. And the other thing is that on this hypocrisy, COVID does not choose. These people, they can ban PF from, they can ban UNDP from campaigning, but they are showing up in numbers, you know, they are all together campaigning. COVID is attacking everyone over 50 years old. If you are overweight, you are high risk. If you have an underlying medical condition, you are high risk. So they are exposing themselves to this disease. So this disease is not going to choose whether you have money or not. We have seen people dying, perishing because they are practicing unsafe COVID behavior. So we are just appealing to the government of Zambia to put their tools down and go back to the drawing board. Coming to KK's funeral, this is the middle of a pandemic, and this tour which they are planning to take the body all around the country, for me, I can say they can postpone it. Why do I say so? Traditionally, as Zambians, ichironga chachitika kulabati umuntu, somebody can die in the city, and then they can wait. When it's ideal, so the same way, I think if I were the government right now, the best thing is like, let's observe COVID guidelines and bury, have the funeral, and then later we can have a state funeral for him when it is safe. Because right now, because of their decision, we are putting the entire country at risk. So I think that is that, and we are going to move on from this topic of COVID, unless Bright or Simata, you have a comment on the COVID situation. So if you don't have a comment, the next thing we want to, so we've covered national mourning as well as the COVID-19. So we are moving on to SEER1's live broadcast. Yesterday, we saw over, I think now maybe it's going to 1 million people have seen SEER1's live broadcast. And we are talking about SEER1 because SEER1 was part of the PF government. SEER1 has inside information. He was one of them. But you know what? In the military, they say, do not leave an enemy behind. So what the PF government, they made the enemy of SEER1 and they left him behind. So now SEER1 is becoming the worst nightmare of the PF government. Yesterday, it was SEER1 versus Kambwili. Guys, I'm not even going to talk about Kambwili. We all know Kambwili's history. But for me, what I just want to, opening this discussion, SEER1 said that CK is calling SEER1 a Satanist. We saw evidence of messages from CK to SEER1. So SEER1 was like, if I am a Satanist, what is he doing asking me for help? At the same time, the hypocrisy of this government, they are saying we are a Christian nation, but they are going to SEER1 for whatever. So this is what we are here to discuss, to say, why is this PF government deceiving us? You know, SEER1 said clearly yesterday, he does not know HH, and HH has never reached out to him. He's like, SEER1 is a Christian. I mean, HH is a Christian, and SEER1 is not a Christian. So SEER1 clearly said that him and the HH are not together. They have never talked. SEER1 is just on a campaign to liberate Zambia from the cruelty, the evilness of PF. So guys, to set the ball rolling, this is what I'm saying is like, our government, they are hypocrites. They come every day preaching Christianity, but they are there seeking powers from someone who is not a Christian. And the SEER1 exposed them yesterday. SEER1 clearly said, Kambwili is just a tip of the iceberg. 90% of Zambian government, they go to him for special powers. So me, I'm here to tell you, Zambian people, open your eyes. This government of PF does not deserve another chance to rule this country. They have caused enough chaos in this country. They do not care, and they are hypocrites. They say one thing, they are doing the opposite thing. You know, parliament dissolved. Like, we are supposed to know everything that's happening. We saw a presidential jet in Egypt. Any flight manifest is not a private, it's not a private affair, it's public. So if you are flying a plane anywhere, you have to get clearance, and anyone can find that, can track the plane. So what we are saying is, we are seeing a government which is lying to us. They are treating Zambians like I don't know what these PF take us for. Mambirima was working. There is no work now. The whole country, Africa, they are hotspots of COVID. There is no work. Any work that is happening, unless it's somebody who is working in a factory. If it's just intellectual, it's via Zoom like we are talking here. So what work did Mambirima go to do in Egypt? They are lying to us. And this is why we have to talk about these things. And tell PF, we are sick and tired of your lies. Enough is enough. And every well-meaning Zambian, it's time for you to change your mindset and vote for a government which is genuine.
Yes, yes, because the way it is, the Zambian people now have known that the purpose why that presidential jet was seen in Egypt, it has collided with the visit of late Justice Irene Mandirima. So we as Zambians, we are left to speculate. The problem that is there with our current government is that they reverse, okay, to speculate. We can conclude that the one who was in that presidential jet was the late Justice Irene Mandirima. That is according to our speculations, because these things happened in the same period. Okay. These issues that we are talking about, if we're going to be very serious, I want to be for. Okay. SEER1 was very clear, and Dr. Chimbakambwiri, if he was very much a man of integrity, he could have come out in the open and distanced himself from what the SEER1 said. But to this day, Dr. Chimbakambwiri has not come out in the open to tell the Zambian people whether what SEER1 was saying was it true or not. We even saw a conversation which SEER1 had with Dr. Chimbakambwiri, and to make the matters worse, it was not SEER1 that inboxed or WhatsApped Kambwiri, but it was Kambwiri who WhatsApped SEER1. Okay, so whatever that SEER1 said confirms one thing, and that thing is that these PF ministers, PF officials, they have been going secretly to SEER1. They have been consulting witch doctors. They have been consulting do as I say powers. Okay. And Dr. Chimbakambwiri is just an ice. Okay. Is a tip. Okay. Okay. A tip on top of the iceberg. The point here is that these people are corrupt. These people are very much corrupt, and they are not serious to take Zambia forward. Right now, as we are talking, we have got a very hot issue about elections. And this is what we are going to dive into right now. We are diving into the issue of elections. A few days ago, we in the UPNG, we came out in the open and gave an official position to say we have suspended campaigns because we have got a funeral where we are mourning a gallant freedom fighter, okay, a man of eminent character like Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. We hoped that our friends could emulate us, okay, and also suspend their campaigns, okay, in reverence and in respect of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. But what happened was that our friends, even when we were mourning, them they were seen in Chiengi, them they were seen in different parts, dancing. They were dancing and twerking. Okay, but they are dancing at a time of a funeral. Imagine your father in the house has died, and what you do, you are twerking, you are dancing, How are the people in Zimbabwe who have declared 14 days of national mourning, okay, going to see you? How are the people in Mozambique, in Malawi, in South Africa, okay, going to see you when themselves in those countries have declared 7 days, some have declared 14 days of national mourning a person who was never a president of their country. I've never seen anyone in South Africa dancing or twerking. Okay. I have not seen anyone in Mozambique going dancing during this period when we have got a national mourning. Okay. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was not only a Zambian revolutionary. He was a world African, Pan-Africanist revolutionary. Now, the ruling party in the PF, they don't see any respect and importance of this funeral. One, they have decided to politicize the death of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda by taking his body, his coffin in 10 provinces. They use it as a campaign strategy, as a campaign tool. There, when they'll be escorting the body, when they'll be carrying the casket, some of them will be flashing the PF symbols and wearing the guardia of the PF. Okay. This will be a conduit of corruption. Look, the time when Mwanawasa died, there was a lot of misappropriation of funds. This was confirmed in the Auditor General's report when they failed to account for the money that was released during Mwanawasa's death. Okay. This was brought by the PF when they were in opposition. They brought out this issue on how the money was spent at Mwanawasa's funeral. We suspect and see that this funeral of KK will be a conduit in which some people who use and extort public funds and come and accuse that we used a chakut billion for the funeral of Kenneth Kaunda. You will see these things in the Auditor General's report when they come out. Some people who want to have access to the money in the treasury. This thing, the Zambian people, I want to tell you, this thing of having the body, the coffin, okay, the casket of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda to move in 10 provinces, it will require the government of the day to get funds, not from public institutions, but from the coffers of government. They'll get money from the treasury of the government of the Republic of Zambia. And when they get that money will be unaccounted for because everyone will be in mourning. No one will account for this money because, as you know, ministries have been dissolved. There's no minister right now who is held accountable for the money that will be withdrawn from the Ministry of Finance. Because as we are talking right now, we don't have a Minister of Finance. Those ministers were dissolved when Parliament was what? Was dissolved. Okay, so who is going to account for that money? Okay, they will extort, some of them, they extort that money and use it for campaigns. You have seen how Madam Inonge Wina has abused state resources. She has abused helicopters from ZAF. She has abused, okay, machinery from disaster management and mitigation units. Okay, in the same chopper, she has put cadres, okay, to go and campaign, and she's using her position to go and campaign. What more about this death of Kenneth Kaunda? We are saying that the PF, okay, they are using the death of Kenneth Kaunda, one, to silence the nation. But therefore, ichalo chitalare. But therefore, ukushita silence ichalo. Abantunga batalala. Takwa ama elections, takwa campaigns, everyone will be quiet. They will use this also opportunity to steal state resources, to abuse government vehicles, government machinery, money. They will use all these things, okay, to their advantage. They will also use the funeral of KK to campaign around it, to be a campaign strategy. And that's why I wish to express my heartfelt disappointment in the family of KK, especially the children, Panji Kaunda, Tirienji Kaunda. Today they were consulted by journalists, okay, to ask them about how they feel that the father's body casket will be moved in 10 provinces. They do not give a proper answer. They just said, no, everything is in the hand of government. It shouldn't be that way. We are in an election time. And this election time, we must be wary and careful of people who want to use your father's name to campaign. You are you are children of a gallant revolutionary. You must see when you are being used. Trienj Kaunda, okay? Panji Kaunda, I want to tell you, you are being used. You don't just know what is happening in this country. This time, we are having a constitutional requirement of having elections. Why would you accept the PF to politicize your funeral? So these are issues we are talking about. Maybe others can contribute.
Yes, so I agree with you. So for me, what I can just say is that if the government really wants to take the body of our fallen founding father to all the 10 provinces of Zambia, then they should not allow any political regalia to be worn. When the body is passing, everybody should be neutral. We don't want to see any political regalia, people flashing symbols or wearing HH Chitenge or whatever. That's all I can say. But what I can say is that also we have seen the numbers of COVID increasing. So I would urge the government, instead of spending money on this, taking the body all around the country, they can divert those funds to COVID prevention and COVID maintenance so we can contain this COVID. Because they were given money and that money is nowhere. So the same money they're supposed to use for this funeral, let them rechannel that money to fight COVID. Because if they do not fight COVID, we are going to have higher numbers after the funeral. So this is my contribution. If the funeral must go on, there should be no regalia. We should all be there to share our last respects in our normal clothes. And the two, masks must be distributed to everyone who is going to line up or who is going to be there to watch and pay last respects to our KK. Yeah, so unless somebody has anything to say on the funeral.
Bright, are you there, Bright? What you do is we do not have time. You just unmute your mic, Bright. You just unmute your mic. Yes, and yes, we can get you, Bright. Are you there, Bright?
Okay, so if your connection is bad, we will drop you because there are other people waiting joining. If we can't hear you, we'll drop you. Okay, so Bright, we are going to lose Bright because his connection is bad. We can't hear him. Chimunya, you are next.
Okay. Good evening. Yeah, I guess you can you get me?
Yes, Chimunya,
hello?
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's not necessary for them to carry their body like from Lusaka to all the 10 provinces. It's not necessary because it wouldn't make sense, like starting from the family. It wouldn't look good, like it's some sort of campaigning thing, because that can never happen. Like most of the presidents in other countries they're the first presidents, but I've never heard that happening. It's my first time here in Zambia hearing that you have to pass the body, the 10 provinces. Now the thing is not knowing if the body will be inside or maybe they only carry the coffin alone. So yeah, actually I don't have much to say on that. Thank you.
Yes, because they are saying that there will be no body viewing. So what do we know? What do we know if the body, there's no body viewing? So what's the point of carrying a coffin where we can't see the body? What's the point? Most countries, they lie the body in state. So maybe at Mulungushi Conference Center, they can lie the body in state there for 1 week, 2 weeks. People can travel there and they can see the body. But I don't really see the point of taking the body to the 10 provinces and there's no body viewing. What's the point? Do we know what is going to be in that coffin? It's just a show, it's just a parade. We say no to this. We say no to this. Otherwise, if they want to take this parade, then if they want to take this funeral to 10 provinces, then no regalia. We should all show up in our normal clothes. Takuri kufuala, UPND or whatever PF regalia. If they want this to take the body to the 10 provinces, nobody should wear regalia. If they wear regalia, then we know that they want to campaign, and we are saying no to that. That's my take. So thank you, Chimunya. Jasper, you have a comment?
Okay, to go and campaign, and she's using her position to go and campaign. What?
Jasper, can you come on? If we can't come on, we are going to drop you. We have other people waiting. Can you come on? Jasper? And Simat, are you ready?
Yes, very ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Please. You see, this issue of taking the big man to the 10 provinces is not It's not a good thing. And on top of that, they say that there will be no body viewing. Then, why should we actually start, having such kind of activities of moving the big man instead of him just resting there? I think these people, they are being just, they are bringing some tricks there. It's the way of campaigning actually. That's why they are trying to come up with such issues. Otherwise, it's not a good idea. This PF government, it has become something else. And I'm sensing that now they want to maybe even stopping the elections. That's why it's important for us, as advocates, to make sure that actually we come against this one. Social media, whatever they are succeed. Otherwise, so much there. I'm telling you, we are going to see to be done, which is not good. So this issue is not a right one. Better the big man rest than moving provinces. For what reason or what purpose? It's all about, again, no wonder they want to do that. It's the way of campaigning, which is not good. At least if they said that, no, there'll be body viewing, but just moving the profile. For what purpose? Sure. Even if we are blind, we can't be blind in such a way like that. We need to open, this is the time for us, to open our eyes and come against this kind of activity. That's what I can say. Otherwise, it's not a good idea, and there's nothing that has happened in that way. And even those who are watching, we can't accept such a situation. In all 10 provinces, without that body viewing, it's not acceptable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Smata. Guys, we are here. We have pinned the link. If you want to join in and share your comments, the link is available. We are talking about the national mourning. We are talking about the COVID-19 and just sharing information. So if you want to come in, the link has been pinned on the top of the page. You can come in and share your comments, guys. Let's discuss.
Okay, I just wanted to comment something very important. Look, if we are to grow as a country, we must be ready to criticize each other. We must be ready to tolerate each other as a country. Comrade Mata, you can mute your mic. I want to say that from the word go, okay, from the day that it was announced that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda is going to be mourned for 21 days, personally, at an individual level, I had issues. Okay, not because I do not have respect for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Okay, but I could see, okay, I could see what was behind the declaration of 21 days from our friends. I could see beyond the political lenses of what our friends were looking at this, how they were looking at this issue. For them, they were not looking at it from the angle of respect. They were looking at it from the angle of oppressing and suppressing the opposition from campaigning, okay, delaying the electoral process. Two, our friends were not looking at it from the angle, from the point of view of respecting the legacy of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. They were looking at it from the perspective of cancelling and stopping elections. Okay. SEER1 yesterday, he said it. He touched on the truth, which I also believe, that these people, they want to use every opportunity to cancel and delay the electoral process. Now, let us go into calculations. From the day, it was 57 days remaining from the day that they declared that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was going to be mourned for 21 days. Now, from 57 days, if you subtract 21 days, okay, we will be at the point where on the 7th of June, there will only be 2 or 3 weeks, okay, remaining for us to go to the general elections. And from that point, they will now U-turn and say, we have extended the suspension of bars, night clubs, and what, and we are entering into now a partial lockdown for the next 14 days. All these moves are aimed at suppressing the opposition. We are in a danger as a country because our leaders, they don't look at it respecting the dead. They are more interested about elections. President Edgar Chagwarungu, he is not interested in the dead. He is not interested in respecting the dead. He is not interested in whatever is happening in the country. His own interest, number one, it is winning elections or canceling an election. Okay? They want to use COVID-19 to cancel elections. Now, I wish also to agree with what SEER1 yesterday said, that if we as a country, we have seen that the cases of COVID-19 are increasing, why can't we have early elections? For your own information, those of you who don't know, it is not strange for us to have early elections in our country. We have had early elections before. Okay? Let us have early elections. If we are seeing that cases of COVID, look, today it has been reported and recorded that the mortuary, UTH mortuary, for your own information, the mortuary that we have at UTH is the biggest in the country. Okay? Now, if it is reported that the mortuary, the biggest mortuary in the country is full to capacity, where are we going to have the capacity to hold elections? Okay? What we are saying is that if there is need, if need be, let us have early elections, because if the cases are increasing, why can't we have early elections? What is wrong? Moreover, we are prepared. Zambian people, in fact, they are tired of this process. Why? Because this year's election is the most boring election that I've never seen in my life. The reason is because there are no campaigns, there are no roadshows, there is no campaigning, posters are not there. When you put your billboard is being touched, it is being destroyed. There's a lot of political violence. It means that before people start killing each other, okay, let us vote in advance. The candidates are already there, we know them. Okay. Now we are faced with this coronavirus that has now ravaged many citizens. For your own information, you, the ECZ, don't think that you are immune to this virus. You, the PF, don't think that you are immune to this virus. All of us are in danger. What we need is that we need to go for early elections. If we see that the cases are increasing, okay, not to endanger the lives of the Zambian people. And look, this hypocrisy, Madam Pumulo, this hypocrisy that these people are doing will cost this country, okay, whereby you, on the other side, you are saying, we have suspended the rallies and roadshows because of COVID-19. But you go in the villages there, you hold the rallies with innocent villagers, people whom you are supposed to conscientize and sensitize about coronavirus. You packed them together, you make them, you know, I was very shocked to see Sunday Chanda, the media director of PF, lining up villagers, okay, giving them 100 kwachas, and those villagers, none of them had the face mask. There was no social distance. They were packed together. You go in villages with money. You put people together, compounded together like bands, okay? You because of their poverty, because of their desperation, you expose them to the risk of COVID-19. A few days ago, President Edgar Chagwarungu went to Western Province to go and flag off the so-called whatever they were doing with the FRA, flagging off, giving me a fertilizer and stuff like that. A lot of villagers came there. Okay, there were a lot, no social distance, no masks. And the president has been campaigning using government machinery by going to commission projects. And everywhere he goes with a lot of people. Okay, we must be serious about these things. Okay, that's why we are saying that Zambian people have already decided on what they want. Even today, we are ready to have elections. We are tired. We are tired of this regime. That's what I can say.
Yes, Honorable, I agree with you. All these PF rallies, they are super spreader events. They are spreading the virus. No one is immune to COVID. Here in the United States, Trump was behaving in a similar way, you know? He was having rallies. Do you know how many people close to Trump died? A lot. Even Trump himself, he contracted COVID, but he was treated with an experimental drug. That's how Trump was saved. He was walking around with a ventilator, oxygen tank, oxygen tank. But he was behaving like COVID is not real. But even when he got COVID, he didn't care because he got the medical attention, Ali Pusuka, but a lot of Trump followers perished from COVID-19 because vale mkonga kumarali. Bainonge wina kuyabaire kusolwezi mwali monoko vale abantu so. Vale folesha maten kwacha. Kachinga nishinga vale folesha. We are saying no to this. Zambians, we have to wake up. People, if you have families all around the country, tell your people to stay home. Ingabaisa, your life is not worth 100 kwacha or 200 kwacha. We only have one life. Let's preserve our life. Call your people in the villages. Let them abandon PF rallies. We cannot stop them from having rallies, but we can tell our people to stay away. These people, their behavior is high risk. They are coming from Lusaka, which is a highly concentrated area. Lusaka is a hotspot for COVID. They are going to the villages and taking this COVID over there. Mwemantu, call your relatives in the villages. Their life is not worth 100 kwacha or 200 kwacha. Your 200 kwacha, it will cost your life. You will contract COVID and die. They will contract COVID and take a super jet to Egypt. They will try to do something to save them. But you and me, we will perish. So my message here is everyone listening, call your relatives in the rural areas. Their life is not worth 100 kwacha. Their life is not worth a bag of mealie meal. Their life is not worth a bag of cooking oil. Their life is not worth a chitenge. Kuti chave chitenge. All this year now, all these years, do you know what I was wearing? 100 kwacha. Do I need it? No, I don't. So this is a message. We cannot stop PF from campaigning or going to these villages, but we can tell our people, these people, they are conducting high-risk behavior and they are super spreader events. Anyway, Okobalea, that is a super spreader event. These people, they are coming from Lusaka to hotspot. And Lusaka is a hotspot because there's a lot of international travelers there. People coming and going. They are the ones who are bringing these diseases. Now PF is campaigning in rural areas. So our message is, let's just campaign for our people to shun these rallies. Your life is not worth 100 kwacha. Napela. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the judiciary. I know that the judiciary of Zambia have sold their job. They have taken money in lieu of upholding the Zambian constitution. It's very, very sad that we have a judiciary system which is enabling a corrupt government. And this has come, it has to come to stop. We are not going to allow these judiciary people who are lawyers sworn to uphold the constitution, but all they do is take bribes and make decisions in favor of a corrupt government, they have risked lives of Zambians. On the internet, it's all over that election 2016 was stolen enabled by our judiciary system. So you judges, the day is coming when you're going to face the consequences of your actions, because a lot of people have died because of our corrupt judiciary system. There is no way. Some of the decisions that they make, they are wrong and they know it. But because of Akasaka Kandalama, they make decisions against the people of Zambia. Judiciary is supposed to be autonomous, independent, to protect the constitution. Zambia right now is like we don't even have a constitution. Yeah. So I end here, guys. I end on unless somebody has something to say on the judiciary, you can go ahead.
Yes. So what we do, before we can even make comments on that, we promise you that we were going to read out some of the comments that you are making, you are commenting below. And please, Mama, you can just begin to read out some of the comments of the people and just to acknowledge the people that have commented, good or bad. In a minute, you can still read through the comments that are
So
commenting.
I have a comment here from Brami. He said the only respect we give KK is by putting him to rest as soon as possible. Taking him around is not respect at all. If the COVID-19, what about going to these places? COVID is, so in short, he's saying, if we respect KK, let's put him to rest, because it's not safe for us to hold all these huge parades in the middle of a pandemic. And somebody says, we agree with you. Delight Jere said, we are tired of this government. Liam Bunda says, hello, my sister. David said, we made our minds to whom we vote for, whether they campaign, the time for change is come. Forward, and PF has no shame. Diani says, tell them. Melvin says, watching you from Kitwe. And somebody, Yaran says, it's a waste of time and money to parade, to have a funeral parade. Lucky, the link is there. If you go on Motomola page, the link is there. Martin, excuse me, says, that's very true. You're talking sense. No need to move a body from one place to another without body viewing. Exactly. What do we know what is in that coffin? The whole point, for me, if they say we are going to put a glass, whatever, there is a way which they can embalm the body and put a glass so that, it's sealed. There is a glass, you see him. So what is the point? Do we know what is in that coffin for them to take it around the country? It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. We are watching, following through, even on Pumi's page, we are there. Yes. So guys, we are asking you to follow me on my Facebook page, because the hackers, they are trying to take my Tomola page down. They are not happy what we are talking here. They are not happy. So they have been reporting us to Facebook, so Facebook can shut this page down. So we are trying to have a plan A and a plan B and a plan C. Our plan B is a Queen Pumi page. So guys, follow my page. Sometimes if we don't know, anytime they can block this page, we won't be able to come live. But we want you to be able to find us on my page. So this is just what's happening. Chimunya Sakala says, will you come to vote? Yes, I'm coming to vote. I'm coming to be with you in the streets to Kababon Sevala Jombo. I'll be there. This is a historical moment. We are coming. We are coming. We are coming to help deliver Zambia. Take the country back and give it to you by youth. Because I believe the Zambian youth is our future. You are the people who are going to deliver Zambia. The jobs are waiting for you. You are all educated. You are qualified. And you are going to rule this country without fear or favor. You are all going to love each other as one Zambia, one nation, as KK has left our legacy. So I'm coming, God willing. God, if God allows, I'm there. Otherwise, everything is green. God has already showed me the signal to be there in Zambia, and it's a good things. It's good things. I just want to share a short story. So I went to see my client, and this lady, she's a tailor. She makes things. She's like, and when after my appointment, I was leaving, she gave me tags. She's like, oh, I make tags for suitcases. Here are the tags. You can tie them on your luggage when you travel. That was last month. So I'm like, hey, God, she has given me tags for my suitcases. I'm ready. That right there was a sign from God to say, I'm going to be in Zambia. It's a historical moment. Ikelengi district, Chris. Hi, Chris. I've lived in Ikelengi. I went to Kaleni Primary School. I've been there. That's Mwinilunga. Yes, yes. The PF government is a joke. That is Sayowa Mzondi parading a dead body around. Is that normal? the African way? It's not. It's not. So, like Honorable Matomola said, PF should not use the funeral of our founding father for their campaign. Me, I say, if they want to go around the country, no regalia. All of us, we should just wear black. We are in mourning. One dress code. Takuli ati yo na fale chitenge chaba nani nani. We should all just speak black and mourn. If this national mourning should go around the country, no one should wear regalia. What's it for to afala black? End of story.
Wow. So thank you so much. I think we gotten those comments, and we get it back now to those who are in the studio, those who are in the meeting. As we wrap up, Frederick, do you have something to say? Who has not spoken here in the meeting?
Yeah, good evening, viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, I think by the name National Mourning itself, it means that the whole around the country, that's the sheer waste of time and it's the sheer waste of money. And the other thing that we can't mourn for 21 days is just too much to mourn. You can imagine Nelson Mandela was mourned for 7 days, if not mistaken. And Nelson Mandela is the same as our late president down. So it means that, and it makes matters worse, we are in this pandemic of COVID-19. So if truly, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu had the thought of this pandemic and take it serious that no, there is pandemic, we have to mourn our first president. You could have reduced the date to 7 days. There is nothing wrong. No one was going to complain why 7 days, why this, because we are going to understand, no, there is COVID. No one was going to complain. Now 21 days, taking the casket all over the nation with this pandemic. No, it's not right. No physical viewing of the dead body. We don't know what is inside. What if it is empty? What if it's just a strategy? It is empty. Then it's profitless. So we don't need the casket all over the country. All you have to do is to reduce this national mourning for 10 days. 21 days is just too much. Let our first Republican president to rest in peace.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think from this point, we are going to begin wrapping up as we continue our broadcast in the background with the observers. For your own information, the same way that you don't sleep in terms of planning evil. So thousands of people who are ready to observe these elections. So we don't sleep us. We are not sleeping, we are strategizing. Okay, there's something big ahead of you. Don't even make a mistake to think that Zambian people are sleeping. We are not sleeping. So we are winding up. Thank you so much for those that have been following us on Facebook. Those of us, Frederick, Madam Pumulo, who have been joined us, Simata, and a few guys who were with us on the platform. Please, what you are going to do is to share this broadcast so that person who was not following this broadcast should know that there is a lot of hypocrisy in what. Now look at this as we wind up. Right now, if you have a bereavement, the Ministry of Health have advised that funerals have been reduced from mourning period of mourning people for 3 days. During COVID-19, it is only 1 to 2 days, and you are compelled and forced by the Ministry of Health to bury your loved ones. Okay. Now, if us ordinary people, when we lose, if I lose my mother or any person, for God forbid, the Minister of Health will come and say, no, you are not supposed to mourn your mother for 3 days because there's coronavirus, just 1 or 2 days. But when it comes to another person in a magnitude or caliber of Kenneth Kaunda, they extend the days. Where is the balance there? Where is the fairness? Because the same risks that they are afraid that people will gather at our funeral is the same risk that will be exposed to when we gather at KK's funeral. So these are issues. So we end here, and let's hear concluding remarks from Madam Pumo, so that we end here.
So we have Ragi. Ragi was wanting to say something, but all I can say is the PF, the way they are running this country, they are not being genuine. So we are being told that, first of all, a funeral gathering is supposed to be not more than 50 people, right? So not more than 50 people for a funeral, and then the number of days reduce. So they are mixing this whole thing for them, they have it twisted. It's not the number of days, but it's amount of people. You can have a funeral gathering for 1 week, and if it's just family members, it's fine. 10 people, you can mourn for a week, for a month. If it's a big house, you are social distancing, that is fine. But then the same people, they are turning around to say you can have a funeral for 3 days, and then there are thousands of people hanging around. That is a super spreader event. You see what I'm saying? So for them, they are looking at people coming together. They are stopping people coming together, as in stopping people coming together to campaign. They are not looking at these restrictions as a way to prevent COVID, the spread of COVID. They are using this pandemic to curtail people from getting together. Mamona, they have it wrong. Because the same people, muleba abantu, I lose my mother at 1 day mushike. They are planning a state funeral to take a coffin yaba kaunda all over the 10 states and have people at parade. That is a hypocrisy. So therefore, Zambian people do not follow what these people are saying. Use logic. There's a lot of information on the internet on COVID appropriate behavior. Read about it. These PF, their interest is only for them to get re-elected. They don't care. Whatever decision is making, whatever decision they are making is a decision to have numbers around them so they can campaign. Any situation here where the opposition are in numbers they don't want. They cancelled everything. Road shows, campaign, they are cancelling funerals, but if it's their funeral, it's an exception. They are overlooking all the COVID guidelines. So guys, we are on our own. We are going to perish. If we don't look out for ourselves, we are going to perish.
Yeah.
Because if funeral, they say, okay, never sumisha funeral, I am COVID wafu. But you go change for 100 kwacha. You go there. Your life is worth 100 kwacha. Wayambula COVID wafu. Especially the old people. They are very much at risk. And we know that this PF, they are targeting our grandparents and our mothers and our fathers in the villages. Those are highest risk. Once they get COVID, the chance of survival is 50-50.
Yes.
So this is the message. It's like people look out for your life, but PF, they are looking out to win the election. And they don't care who's going to be alive, because obviously they don't, from the way they're acting.
Just there, actually, a thought has come to me, and I'm now sensing, relating that they banned road shows, and they now want to have a road show where they'll be carrying a coffee. Okay, because that will be a road show. They will have a road show in 10 provinces. Yeah? we are meant to be banned and suspended the roadshows because that to be a roadshow. We saw this happen in Manawasa time when they coffee in and stuff. It's been passed in provinces and stuff. It's a roadshow. Okay, people are there standing in the road and waving, some of them crying. We saw that is the road show. So if the Minister of Health and ECZ are sincere with what they are doing, let them cancel those things, citing election periods. That is all. That is all. We saw these things happening. We saw these things that are happening. They are not new. Okay, they have happened before. Okay, so in a nutshell, guys, thank you so much for following the broadcast. We are going to be back again tomorrow because now it's Akuna Kolara. It's every day talking. Share this broadcast and we see how we can move forward. Otherwise,
thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you soon. Follow Queen Pumi, guys. Follow Queen Pumi's page. These people, they are no good. They don't want us to share information. They are trying tooth and nail. But you know, even as we have our options, we will not stop. So thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Otherwise, the crew, you can stay on in the back.